Let's bring in Vincent Omdwanda, who is head of programs at Pema, Kenya, an organization that's working to advance the human rights of gender and sexual minorities in Kenya. Vincent, thanks so much for being with us on the program. It's great to have you. Senegal has anti-LGBT laws. Why do you think the government has moved to toughen legislation now?
There has been a growing trend within the African countries, and one of the things that we are currently observing is the weaponization of the African values, as well as weaponization of religion that is really gaining influence within the African parliamentarians. One of the things that we currently observed also, for instance, in Kenya and Uganda recently, there was the family values conferences, and one of the outcomes that we are observing from the conference is the resolutions on that really target or curtail the rights of the LGBTIQ communities. Another aspect that we are currently observing is the developments in the Western countries. And one of the developments is the banning of the diversity, equality, and inclusion interventions. Lastly, we've also been able to document heavy resource financing on the anti-LGBTIQ, or rather anti-rights movements. And these resources are actually now being used to target or influence African states, including state agencies like the parliament and the judiciary.
Well, supporters say LGBTQ rights are a Western import. That's very much the view in Senegal, and it's also the view in many African countries where LGBTQ rights are being stifled. How much is there genuine backing for laws like the ones that could be unveiled, that could come into force in Senegal? And are politicians really just using this issue to just score easy political points?
Yeah, so when you look at the level of support that these kind of laws are getting, there is significant support from the general public within African countries. And the reason why we are seeing this kind of support is because our politicians are targeting ideologies or issues touching on religion, issues touching on culture, and also identity. And these are issues that deeply resonate with the majority of the African public in various countries that we are currently observing. One other thing that we're also seeing is that politicians are projecting themselves as sovereign protectors. They're projecting themselves as, morality authoritarians. And for them to be able to project themselves as such, they are really using the lowest cost possible to achieve this kind of status. And that is why they're easily gaining support, and these strategies are easily working in most African countries.
Thanks so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's move on. Ghana's foreign